This is my 2018 Mustang GT, which currently has a 6.0 LS in it. Getting the motor mounts online were easy, but there was no transmission mount. So I was stuck with the dilemma of getting either a couple pieces of aluminum and welding them together, or 3D printing. So with welding out of the picture, I couldn't decide whether or not how I wanted to go about it. Did I want to make it out of steel? Did I want to make it out of aluminum? So finally, I just said, you know what, T6 aluminum's pretty cheap. Let's go ahead and do that. The first thing I had to figure out was how exactly the cross member was going to fit underneath it. I currently have a base GTO T56. So it's not the T56 Magnum or Magnum XL. It's a very base T56. So I first had to determine where it was going to meet on the cross member to the unibody, and then where the transmission was going to line up on the actual mount. So after I measured out my distances to each bolt hole, and then my distances from the bolt holes on the unibody to the bottom of the transmission, I came up with this base outline. And as you can see, it's not perfect. You have all this unnecessary kind of space being overly utilized, and then right at some critical points, there's almost nothing. So this ended up being my first model, and then I moved on to my second model. After looking at the first model, I had decided that I wanted to get rid of that space that was being overutilized, and instead I thinned it out, but I added these two support bars in between. Once I 3D printed in two pieces, I had my general idea. Once this print completed, I put it underneath the car, made sure all the bolt holes aligned, and they looked good. The prints never came perfect, but just to get a general idea of like how you want your mount to look or how is it gonna pan out, it's always good to 3D print it, because if not, what if, you know, your tolerances are too tight or too loose, and is it even gonna fit after you get it CNC'd or any other type of machining like laser. After I confirmed that that was my final version, I went to Xometry, and they had a instant quote system, and I decided to throw in the CAD and see how much it was going to cost. They quoted me $335 to CNC, which, to get it custom made from somewhere else, probably would have been in the 500s. Similar amounts that may or may not have worked for my application were going to be in the 500s. So I decided, you know what, I'll take the risk. I've never sent out a CAD to get CNC'd. But you know what, why not go ahead and try it? So after taxes and shipping, it came out to $335. Shipping was actually free. I ended up doing T6X aluminum, which is supposedly the best in strength. I wanted to do steel, but it was going to be in the 500s, and I couldn't afford doing 500 for a transmission mount. I was already trying to dodge that when I was creating the part. The tolerances on it were about 5/1000ths of an inch, and then I did smallest roughness, and then they did a standard inspection. Now, when the part came in, I'm actually thoroughly impressed. It is strong. And half of this has to just do with the beefiness of how I designed this thing. I wanted to make sure that there was no chances possible of my transmission ever dropping or breaking while driving, because I'm planning on pushing about 700 horsepower. So I wanted to make sure this thing was tough. They quoted me about 10 days of lead time to manufacture the part. And then once it was manufactured, they actually did it in 9 days and shipped from China to my house in 4. The quality is pretty unmatched. It's super smooth. The only scratches and gouges that are in it are from me dragging it on the ground when I was test fitting it underneath the car, just to make sure everything lined up, and everything lines up exactly how I needed it to. It's crazy seeing a design that you come up with and actually in like a metal it's just crazy to me. I never thought I'd be at the point where I could design my own car parts or almost anything, and then actually be holding a finished product. In just 20 days, I had my vision for my transmission mount for this vehicle in my hands, fully completed and ready to go on the car. Designing the CAD wasn't too bad. It took me about 3 hours of time, start to end. Going underneath the car, back and forth, was a little bit exhausting, but we ended up getting it done. I think all I have left to this is to get it painted or powder coated. Just want to thank you guys for watching this quick video. I hope it inspires you to at least get into making your own CNC parts. I wish I had a CNC, but that isn't my time yet. And I'm going to continue grinding on the 2018 Mustang GT with the LQ9 in it. We are so close yet so far. All that's left in this vehicle to get done is drive shaft now. So once I install this underneath the car, I'm set to get drive shaft manufactured and then pull out the motor and go ahead and get the motor ready. And the car should be done by then. If you want more content like this, make sure you like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think that making your own CNC parts is out of reach just because you don't have a CNC? Stay motivated, guys. See ya.